What should we do about suffering while it still exists?
Well, again, now, some of you are going to think this is a cheap shot, so I'll be really careful in doing it. I'll be real humble about it. And that is, Eastern religions say suffering is an illusion, and that suffering comes from the illusion that you have an individual consciousness when actually we're all part of the same all-being. And so, as those of you who know something about Eastern, especially Buddhism, but by and large Eastern religions would say that this world is an illusion, and therefore suffering is an illusion. That is good for enduring suffering and saying, don't let it get to you. Western religions, everything from, I don't know if you can call Islam a Western religion, but the older Western religions in Europe, etc., Western religions tended to see suffering as something that eventually, suffering's bad, but heaven, heaven is going to make up for it all. So just endure it, and then heaven will make up for it. But if you have a view, like Christianity, that this material world matters so much that God's going to do it. Jesus Christ had a resurrected body. He wasn't just saved spiritually. He was redeemed physically, which shows that God thinks this world is so important it needs to be redeemed. Now, what that means is, if you're a Christian, you need to be aggressive against suffering. You don't look at hunger, you don't look at disease, you don't look at injustice, you don't look at poverty and say, it'll be over someday, it'll be heaven, or it's all an illusion. Instead, the whole idea of Christianity is God was willing to come down and get involved with our physical suffering. He became he became incarnate. And God is someday going to resurrect it, which would mean Christians ought to be more aggressive, assertive against suffering. Well, we should be amongst the most. Let's just put it that way. That's what I mean. I don't want to make this a cheap shot. Certainly, a Buddhist, a secular person, a Muslim certainly can be just as upset with, evil and suffering and want to go after it and deal with hunger and deal with poverty. But I'm saying if you're a Christian, you've got absolutely no excuse at all. That's all. Really strong resources in the Christian worldview for being assertive and not passive about suffering.